Today in this project, I'm going to show you the iris flower classification machine learning project that I've done with Python as a data analysis intern at Let's Grow More. So here is the project, and the task 1 of 4. So in this project, I'll be using classification methods such as k-nearest, decision tree, random forest, and using different classes of iris plants such as the Setum sosa, versicolor, and virginica, as well as the petal length, width, and septal width and length that is included in the dataset. So where did I get the dataset? I got the dataset from this URL that has the repository. So I read in the libraries, I read in the CSV file. This is what it prints out when I first read in the CSV file. So from that, I just did the basic data analysis using different methods, finding the values, the head printing the first couple of values in the data sets, which is what the head method does, and then using the value counts to find the total number of counts for each species in the data set. Then I use the describe to be able to get the statistical analysis on the data set. So meaning that it gives me the count, the mean, the standard deviation, the minimum value, the 25th value, 25th percent value. So like the 25th quartile, if you were to say this is how you would plot it in a histogram. So it would be the lower quartile, the middle quartile, which is the 50%, and the higher quartile, which is 75th percent, and the maximum value in the, if you were to visualize it as a histogram. So that's what the describe method does for this data set. So afterwards, I did some pre-processing and checked the null values. So I checked for any null values or zeros, and I got the sum of those in the data set, which clearly shows here there's nothing for both either one of them. So there's no null values and those no zeros, which is what we want. So continuing the explanatory data analysis, and I use the scatter plot to be able to visualize the data set using the petal length on the x-axis and the septal width on the y-axis for each species, which is color-coded here. And going into more scatter plots, I just visualized the septal width, the petal width for each species, and continue it again. This time I plotted the line plot and used the petal width on the x-axis and the petal length on the y-axis, which is going to color code for each species, which is what is displayed and what is showing on the legend on the left. Again, here it's showing the septal width, the septal length. So this differs here for each species. You can see the difference in the graph, how the petal width and the petal length and the septal width and the septal length are different, and how I'm not sure if the width is growing and how long it is, but based on the plant and the species. But this shows the difference in the petal width and the petal length versus the septal width versus the septal length for each species in these two different graphs that's plotted. So continuing on, I use the heat map, and this heat map finds the, so it draws the difference of the, so it uses the septal width, septal length, petal width, and that is plotted for both the x-axis and the y-axis, and it shows the difference for the different species here. So continuing on, I go into the correlation matrix. So in order to actually plot the correlation matrix, we can see here that the species is an object. And in a matrix, correlation matrix, it's only going to be numbers. So we only need those 4 columns here. So here, I read in the file, I name it a different value, and different variable, and I use that variable to be able to drop the last column, so the species column here. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, which is the last column. Going into the heat map again, this displays the correlation, so relationship between the length and the width for each of the petal and the septal for the species. So if it's closer to 1 here, how it's diagonal, that means there's a higher correlation, higher relationship, meaning that the width length of the septal petal for both the x-axis and the y-axis are related to each other, and if one increases, the other increases. If one decreases, the other decreases. So they have a relationship between each other. If it's below that, or if it's close to 1, then it's most likely going to increase depending on the other variable that's included. So for example, here, the septal length is has a relationship to the petal width. So if the petal width increases, the septal length increases. Same here and here, and for the positive numbers that are closer to 1. However, for the negative value, if one increases, the other has to decrease. So going into the decision tree, so like the machine learning. So this is where it goes into the immediate task. So here we're going to do test number 4. Test number 1, test number 2 in the immediate level. So we're predicting the classifier using the decision tree, and then visually applying that in a graphic. So displaying that information in a visual manner. So here we have the decision tree, and using the regressor, and I filtered the data set for any missing value. And then I use, for this example, I used the length, so the septal length. So we're using the decision tree to predict the septal length. Here, we're making the prediction for the data set. So this is the whole entire data set. So you see I printed out the data set, and this is the predicted value for the whole entire data set. based on, it would be based on the columns, because that's what X is defined for. So X is stock featured features. So that is coming from the datasets column. So then if we were to print the dataset columns, then it would show the columns itself. So we just show these 5 here. So we just display this. So then I define the model using the decision tree regressor function, and from that I fit the model for the septal length. So going into that, here is the so here is the predictive value for the septal length. So you can see that's 3.13 if we were to round it, and that is what the predicted value for that petal length. So here is the mean absolute error value for the septal length. So there's an error based on the prediction. So we're training the model to be able to predict the value for to be able to validate the predicted value. So there's like a margin error. So this is the mean absolute error for the septal length. So it'll be 3.27 if we were to round it. So going into the petal length. So again, we can do the same thing from the septal length. We could read in use the decision tree regressor to be able to predict the petal width, or the petal length. The petal length here. And once we have that, we fit it in the model, and then we get the model validation, which is the predicted value, which is here. It shows 9.17. So again, we can get the margin of error, which is what the mean absolute value means, which is 7.0.